And we are back again. We're back. Good morning. Happy Friday, Beth. It's Spence.
Hey, good morning.
As if we don't talk to each other every day now. So it is a sunny but cold day here in Chicago. It is Friday, October 6th, 2023. I want to thank everybody who's starting to join us. I think we have all systems go because we figured out most of the mechanics here of StreamYard. Today, I'm pretty excited because this is going to be, again, in our evolution of what we're doing. We've made real breakthroughs this week on the LaunchKit platform, the customer base, the various things that come from it. And I just want to say, to start out, today is going to be a hybrid of three things. And the goal is to also, at the end, introduce one of these things that we're starting with, which is our products. So like Marcus Lemonis, I borrow from him. He's a Chicago guy. He was very famous, billionaire for various businesses, but people, process, and product. And I borrow very heavily from that here because I think what we're talking about, the people who are our audience who benefit from the LaunchKit platform, the process of what you do with it. But more importantly, we're going to invert it. We're going to start with the product. Like, what exactly is it? Because essentially, we've got a productized service that solves a lot of problems for two types of people: the WordPress implementers and the end users. Wrapped around all of this, and I'm going to go into details, but like just to give you a quick hint, is this coaching kit. And in my email, which we're going to go through as a framework today, I am going to show you how the number one thing I've done over all these years is how to make money with WordPress solutions that are ready-made. This could be whether or not you're an implementer or the end user, and we're going to distinguish that as well. So hopefully I've given you a good setup for this, and we can dive in. So let's start out, though, to say hello to everybody who is watching us live. We always have like a small group of people who watch us live, but what I found, which is really gratifying, is that most people obviously watch us on the recordings, because these recordings are live when they're making them, but there's a lot of people who just are at lunch, or it's 10 in the morning on a Friday. People got stuff to do. So thank you if you're here live. Otherwise, thank you for watching this. And you can always reach out to myself or Beth through either wplaunchkit.com, use this little doohickey here, or you can go over to wplaunchify.com. And let me share the screen. That would be easier. wplaunchify.com. You can use this doohickey, or you can use help at wplaunchify. Or as I was showing you on the screen before I forgot to share it, you can just go to wplaunchkit.com and use that. Okay, so let's start out with, how did we get here today? Well, I'm going to do the payoff at the end. And Beth and I are going to do this in a conversational style because we had a long debate about what it is that we're building and who is using it and how it benefits the people. Because Beth is somebody that I've known for many years. She started out in a client relationship, but the reason we're working together here is because she brings a sensibility and a perspective. Although we have a lot of things in common, it's like the mirror on the wall kind of thing. And I have found that's incredibly useful for me as a creator, because I hear my own voice and everything sounds great all the time. Part of the problem of an entrepreneur to succeed has to believe in themselves against all odds, right? So Beth is my mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? And she's like, you're out of your mind. Or sometimes
right, we need clarity. We need clarity.
The thing we were debating today about the coaching kit and about what we're doing at the LaunchKit platform is the nuances of explaining it with regard to who the audience member is. For example, does a WordPress experienced implementer understand the benefits differently than somebody who might be either an end user or who might be that customer of the implementer? And so you bring that clarity, purpose, and together, I think we've been really good, based upon the real world onboardings and so forth, of explaining the benefits. So let's talk about that in terms of, first of all, the payoff today the sort of, I don't know, I'm revealing the ending of the movie, is we're going to get to talking about the coaching kit and what it means in the context of the LaunchKit platform, because it's one of several things that come from the LaunchKit platform, but it has benefit based on this conversation to both you as an implementer or you if you are an end user. And it also is representative of how we're going to be delivering to the open market an understanding of WordPress-based solutions coming from our curated factory, our Lego store, our IKEA store, our Costco, whatever metaphor you want to use, and I'll use all of them interchangeably. We're making it easy for you as an implementer to do the things that make you money because you're clever and curious with WordPress, or make you money because you just use them as the end user for the business purposes that they enable. Did I say that well? Did I?
Yes, you said that very clear. You took my advice this morning. Thank you.
I'm going to have some Trident gum to reward myself, and hopefully I won't sound too, I know it's very impolite to talk with gum, but I found my my singing voice from my dad band is suffering from all the talking. Okay. So let's go back on we now know like the end product or one of the end products, but I do want to let's do people, let's do product, and then let's do process, because I think we'll bring these together. I want to go into more detail about the people, and to do that, why the coaching kit is representative of the whole vision of what LaunchKit is delivering. Let's go back over here to a copy of that email that I sent out that brought many of you guys here. I'm not saying this is magical and so amazing. I write all my emails. I'm inspired by a lot of people who came before me or who are my peers. Ryan Lee, some of the old school guys, Bill Sugarman, Ron Popeil and stuff. Ryan Lee is a contemporary of mine, but he writes emails and he's been talking about the same thing for Gen Xers. People today thrive on personal relationships. Mm-hmm. So when I do my daily, hey, it's Spence from WP Launchify. What I'm trying to demonstrate is there's infinite array of technology available to people. Infinite. What people don't have today is the comfort of a human relationship where their friend, hey, Spence or Beth, is taking care of me. They've got my back and making it easier for me to do the things that I have to do, whether they're solving pain or just, painting a pretty picture. So Ryan Lee and some of the other people, although there is a bit of a technology behind things, they breach through that. And that's what I'm doing here. What we're doing here is saying, look, WordPress has been amazing for anybody, whether you're a tinkerer or a WordPress implementer, or even if you're a person who just ends up using WordPress. But you know what really is bad, I can say bad about WordPress, is that the founding person of this allowed it to become a flea market of 70,000 competing vendors and products and whatever. And even though it's so simple to understand, if it was delivered in a kit, out of the core of WordPress is nothing but like parts and people screaming, come get my parts. And the pain of that for a person who wants to build something is three. One, which part am I supposed to use? Which parts am I supposed to use? If you go to, let's say, a car dealer, you buy a car, you drive it away. If you go to the Lego store, yes, you can go in the parts bins, but most people buy a box that has the kit, the end result. This is what I need this for myself or my child or my friend or whatever. The second thing is that the actual business model of WordPress is broken. As a person who is hired by, works with, is a colleague of, and is myself a developer of the code, it's incredibly stupid that we are here 18 years later and people have to have 22 different subscriptions to buy all of the individual parts from different vendors. Imagine if Legos, instead of going to the store and buying a box, you had to go to 22 different stores in what we used to kids call the mall, or you have to buy 22 different things on Amazon in order to get the same result. Like everybody would go, you're cuckoo, right? But that's WordPress today. Then complicate it farther because you need special types of hosting for the kind of cool features. You have to know how to set up SMTP email services for marketing. You have to understand how to do SSLs, and like I could go on and on. So even for an implementer, it's like, you got to be kidding me. Like if I wanted to sell Toyotas, I could get a Toyota dealership or something like that, or I could just buy used Toyotas and resell them, and people would buy Toyotas ready to drive. I'm not going to go into the build cars from parts business. Right. And then the third thing is that what is it that people want to buy? So in the old days, people were satisfied like just to have a website with a couple pages on it. But today, what really is true is you have 18 to 20 key features, maybe more. And if you buy those features from 18 to 20 vendors and you can't figure out why something isn't working, what happens? It's her, it's him, it's her, it's him. It's their fault. It's not me, whatever. So what's weird about that is what you're ultimately supposedly buying in open source is not the code. The code is free. You're supposed to be buying the support and the featured, the convenience of auto updates. But with 22 different vendors that you don't even know it's the right part, they're all pointing at each other. All you wanted was just to drive the car. You just wanted to buy a nice gift for your nephew for Christmas or Hanukkah or something like that. Like, what the hell? Or with IKEA, you just wanted to decorate your bedroom, right? Like, let's get it done and have some meatballs. So whether it be for the implementer or whether it be for the end user, the people that we're servicing we're saying, look, we got you covered. We got all the software curated and figured out and delivered to you primarily through your main relationship with us, which is the LaunchKit product. We'll talk about that shortly. If you are an end user, this is the part about today with like talking about the kit. If you're an end user, you're like, what? Spence, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I don't need a toolbox full of parts. Even if you curate it, like, what the hell am I going to do? I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm going to borrow Seth Godin, who is another marketer that I follow, talks about when people buy a drill, the marketing needs to be about what is the reason the end user needs the drill. And it's not like a mechanic's reason. The end user of a drill might be a business person in an office who's working 24/7 and wants to hang a picture on a shelf of their family to remind them why they're working so hard. And so by marketing the drill as the fastest way to get to hanging that picture on a shelf, bang, they've got them. And so I've realized this my whole life. For the end user customers, we know there was no way to market the value of this proposition to them directly, but yet there's an infinite number of creators who are audience members of ourselves or other really brilliant, popular creators who are out there with these crazy lists of, here's my list of tools that I use. And if you're one of my audience members, and there's some names that'll come up later who I respect, but when I look at their Notion lists, by the way, of like, here's the 42 tools you can use if you're a creator, I go, are you kidding me? We will be having kits that are essentially the purpose and the specific features and the things that an end user needs ready to go in a box. But just like the Lego store, each one of those Lego boxes is made from the same parts that if you wanted to are in the bins, right? But you don't have to go out and buy them individually, and you definitely don't have to go buy them from 22 different stores. And they come with special instruction sheets, special training. So the people, WordPress implementers, WordPress curious, who want to make money from helping other people with solutions, and the end users that will be your customers if you're that person, or maybe it's just you yourself, will be people who need specific solutions that are built on WordPress, made with love, that you don't have to go out and buy or support or figure out what to do. How did I do with that, by the way? Did that work
hit the
out?
mark. I would say,
What do you
yes,
think?
you
What
hit the
else
mark.
is, what did we miss? What else should we add to that for the people part of it, for who this is for?
Well, I think the solution, the people part is, yes, we've got the kit. It really then, and just for our business as well, it's about the people that we work with and the support that we provide them and the connection, excuse me, the connection that we make with them, right? So this kit comes to life for them. It, works for their business.
Right. Okay. So let's go from the idea of who is it for, who benefits. For those people, I want to bring, by the way, home this point. Any of those people are creators. If you're a WordPress implementer, you're a creator. If you're a business owner, you're a creator. This is for somebody who needs an online solution that has tools or other things that are obviously interacting on a website. I mean, it sounds obvious, right? But even though there's offline reasons that it benefits you, like, for example, an easy way to schedule leads that tells you that somebody is trying to schedule a call with your massage business or window washing service or car detailing. Even though there's an offline benefit, it's really about having a website and not having to be technical in order to solve it. So for the end users, the making money is through what the business does, the kit does, the features accomplish. For the implementer, this is a magic trick, but this is the thing you and I debated this morning, which I know you got it, but we talked about how can we phrase this in a way? I don't want to use a term like multi-level marketing, like Herbalife or Mary Kay Cosmetics or anything, because it sounds smarmy, but think of it like a Costco. You go to Costco, and sometimes I go there, by the way, for myself, because I have 3 kids, but sometimes there'll be these people with like 4 of those huge carts loaded with water bottles and individual potato chips and all these things. And you're thinking like, either they have a million kids or they're running a bodega, or maybe they have a camp. They're buying wholesale. So think of the LaunchKit platform for you as a WordPress implementer is, first of all, an optimized wholesale delivery mechanism of not just the processes and the product that you're going to use at a wholesale price, but the instructions and specific training on what you can do to sell it exactly the way I've been doing for 18 years successfully. And that with that support, you can immediately jump with no prior marketing experience, no prior people experience, no prior technical experience to a proven thing that all requires you to do, and I can't help you beyond that, is recognize, Spence and Beth just talked about, like, I know people like that who could use the dog groomer kit or the coaching kit or whatever. And all I got to do is just take the kit and do what they say as far as suggesting things. And what happens is all of the people in our plan here will be starting with the base level to be fully hosted with all the same benefits you get as your primary kit. And we'll talk about the pricing, but just to give you a quick preview, our relationship with you is $97 a month. It includes the kit and the club and the support being the key. So you get all the software, you get a hosted site, you get all the benefits of the live training, you get all the benefits of the personal email support. When you have a client, the client will get a wholesale cost, $60, just to give you a hint, onto which you can sell that at least $97 a month, because we give you all the proven things to make that happen based upon literally tens of thousands of clients. Because in today's world, as I started the call today, the relationship is what you're selling. But when somebody breaks down for themselves what they're getting in that, $97 to get their final business solution hosted with your support and you having all of our knowledge and information, it's the craziest value ever for what they're getting. So it means that you can get the relationship going, because here's why. We'll talk about it in a minute. What you're really selling is the service. It's what things you do for them on top. And we're going to talk about it, but just hinting as to where you're making your money. You're making your money because we're providing, like Costco, buy 400 bottles of water at 10 cents each. And we provide you all the things you need to understand. Go to the park and offer them to the kids' parents who are watching the baseball game for $1 a bottle. And then offer to show up every week at the games and bring them other stuff. There's businesses that are based upon starting with free opportunity, having simple calls, offering the base kit that we give you at wholesale, and then having all the other things you can upsell as services. We help you figure that out. Okay, so I feel like let's talk about if I've missed any things, but in general, implementers versus end users. End users make money because this delivers the features they need to run their business. The implementers, we're providing a wholesale all-in-one solution with the support and everything you need for yourself to be WordPress curious, WordPress expert, WordPress whatever, but more quickly and easily get to the things that make you the money, starting with a recurring revenue income just from the base of them having their own WordPress kit. Like WordPress as a service versus WordPress put together from parts at the flea market. What do you think, Beth?
Yep, that's right. As an implementer in the past, if this kit would have been available, it would have gotten me right to that customer relationship and working on the project instantly. It would have jumpstart. I would have been able to bypass all those WordPress headaches that you were talking about. I could just jump right into the project, which is like a dream come true.
I mean, it's really interesting. I had a conversation. I'm going to put something up here because I think I have the picture. I was teaching somebody the other day about how I do the process of, I'm looking if I have here it is. Let's see if this works. There we go. So I was talking yesterday with a prospect who was interested. They were coming from our Go High Level webinar. And I said, I've got a very smart entrepreneur, Chris Latham. He has an agency, very popular, very successful one. And he wrote this into me because I was explaining to this other person, one of the benefits of what we do is to be able to have social proof of how easy this is for somebody who's either a beginner, an end user, an expert. Chris is an expert, but what he demonstrated and gave me the feedback on was like, he took like 2 hours to set up a new client in WordPress. We were able to make it so in 4 minutes, he's able to deliver the thing that he is then able to sell for what we're talking about here. He charges much more on the upsell, and I'll get into that in a second. But the base thing of being able to get your clients set up with everything they need using the LaunchKit to go plugin that's included is incredible. And so I was very gratified to see that because to me, that is the bottom line. The bottom line is if you get right to the thing that you make money from, nobody who's your customer cares about what you did behind the scenes. Like when I go to the car dealer, I don't care how the factory works. I just want the car. And even in Legos, like if I'm buying it for myself, like I had these 3 kids or for my kids, I knew I was buying that kit. It was $149 for a box of plastic parts that were worth 10 cents. But you know what I was buying? I was buying an afternoon of joy for my kids. And then ultimately, I knew what parts were in there. I had a big, giant Tupperware thing full of all the parts from old kits that I knew was one day an afternoon of fun. You know, they could reuse the parts, or I could reuse the parts, or we could sell them on eBay or something. All right. Let's talk about the process because we're going to get to the product last. But the process is with whether it be for the coaching kit or whether it be for, let's talk about like LaunchKit and the process of getting involved in us. The current process we alluded to was that everybody right now has to be an expert in all things WordPress, because it's no longer something that like, oh, weeks and months go by and it all stays the same. Every day, the unfortunate reality is the folks who are being directed by Automatic, even if they're volunteers, the folks that are building the core continue to iterate and break and change things. Like if you had a car and they just, you went to sleep, you woke up and the factory came by your house and moved the steering wheel into the trunk and, put the brake where the gas was and stuff. And it's absolutely infuriating to any of us who are in the business of saying, I've got hundreds or thousands of clients and I need to know what is there is stable. So what we do is, first of all, buffer the process of what tool set you're going to use. but we don't take you away from it. When we first started this, you and I were discussing that we were going to use a system that maybe prevented people from like making changes. We've iterated and now allow that to happen, but we still ask you to make a promise on a stack of Fortnite coupons that you will ask first, what is the best way to do this? Because there's probably already something we baked into our process, into our stack. And if you don't go with asking us first, you're just causing yourself a problem because we won't support that. So if you go into the Lego store and you have this lump of melted plastic and go, hey, my kid can't snap this together, we're going to be like, yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't have put it on the stove, right? All right. Second of all, is that the value proposition, I want people who might be concerned about this, the value proposition of WordPress has always been based upon the software is free. I write software. It's all over the place for free because I've never been selling my software. WordPress open source has always been a business model about selling other things besides the software. So what happens is there's a few bad actors in our community who become very powerful and popular by breaking that rule and doing things like their plugins require you to register and log in, and they connect to your sites and they, I don't want to say nefariously, but they spy essentially on what you're doing. And in order to get what you need, you have to make a deal with the devil. Like it's like the CIA is living in my living room. Now, I don't want to get all conspiracy thing, but I'm saying they make it clear in their terms of service that their plugins, when you register with those kinds of products, and I'm going to call it out, Elementor, Freemius, if you register Freemius products, they are connecting and taking data from your usage, and the plugins don't work unless they're connected to the MI5 or whatever. That process is no bueno for me. No good. Stop. First of all, the philosophy, as representing most of the people who've made the cool plugins and the core features, is that we all understand, the people who make the best software, we understand our software is free. We don't have any misconception. When we sell, in the old way, an annual license, it's because we know somebody's going to ask questions. And my God, like I have to make a bet that you don't ask more than $97 a year of questions. That's really tricky when you just, in your professional helper, put in 120 plugins that are all making a Frankenstein, and you're going to call me up thinking, hey, Spence, I gave you $97. I think you got to solve all my problems. Like, no. So our process is different. Our process says, we're in the Lego store. We're in IKEA store. We will support everything and anything that we have sold you as far as in our stack of stuff. I mean, when I say sold you, what we've delivered the software curated to you, because for those things, as long as you haven't added some crazy extra thing into it, we know the answers of what to expect because we have enough experience and interaction with. We've curated those into a thing like Legos that the expected outcome is known. And it's very, very hard to break it because we can control the hosting environment. We can control the software that's in use. We have added our own little rounding off of the sharp corners. We've got the training. We've got the pre-made stuff. If you stick with this, everything is as fun as Legos. Just snap, 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 and it looks great. Or IKEA, like, hey, that dresser looks good in my bathroom along with the sink I bought 10 years ago from, and I'll have some meatballs for lunch. Okay, so the random process of like licensing things and getting into people's business and forcing them into these traps will never happen with us, because with our system, when you're hosted, we auto update, we deliver the software. You can still add your own stuff, but if you do, shame on you without asking us first, because that may be the thing that causes your stuff to break. And we'll see. I mean, you put in Elementor, you're on your own. I mean, for Elementor questions. The second part is that with the independence and the update, you as an implementer have the control that you can hide from your customer. You can do what I call pull an update. I mentioned Freemius. Volvo Fellman, a pal, I was hanging out with him at WordCamp, great businessman. I don't like his business model. I don't like the way that it violates what I feel are the primary things that should be happening with open source software. But here's what I'm doing about it. With the LaunchKit to Go plugin in any remote site, or with our hosted version, you as the end user, you as the implementer, decide when and if to add or update things from the stack. There's no connectivity other than what it does is it, on your button press, goes to where we've buried the treasure of the latest update file, grabs the treasure and brings it back and opens it up on the living room of your, of your condo for you to choose from. I never know what you're getting or how you're getting it, other than there is a license that allows your installation to know where the treasure is buried every time it's updated. Simple, right? No phoning home. I am not pushing things. I'm not taking responsibility. By the way, let's talk about that, Beth, because why do we not want to do a push system of updating? Because the plugin will tell you there's a new version. If I push it, what if you were right in the middle of some unbelievable project where you just had to keep an older plugin because you were testing something, and then well-intentioned but nosy body Spence has his MI5 guys push an update on you and breaks the crap out of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You'd be really annoyed. Right?
Oh yeah, all the work I was just doing, I just lost.
Exactly. Like I was just beta testing something, or I was just fixing a bug, and I turn around to get a cup of coffee and Spence decided to push an update on me. Just like happens in WordPress, the same buffering. Like this week, some well-intentioned but really not thought through person pushed this thing on all the repository plugins that was like, push a button to try this. But it was the new WordPress playground that breaks everything. It's not a real website. And it made all the plugin authors look like morons because their plugins didn't work. So they had to withdraw it. But everybody was irate because it's like, wait, slow down, dude. Like, this is my stuff. Like, you came into my living room and rearranged my Legos. Never going to happen with us. What we do offer for the process, you can phone if you need to. You can set up a Zoom call. You can email. Included in your price is unlimited email, which is really efficient. Because since you're using the stack of stuff, I know your answer probably before you ask the question. And this is what you and I are going to be building our team around, but we have to be individually doing it first. It's, we're building in public. Okay. And I think the third process is the kits. We talked about this, and we're going to get to the product in a second, but the kits themselves are representative of how is it that we can easily create a visual metaphor for folks who are professionals or end users of what the hell is it that I'm going to do with all these things? Like even my own Launch Flows plugin. It's a Swiss Army knife along with a dozen other Swiss Army knives. If you multiplied out the things you could do, there's probably tens of thousands of possible outcomes you could build, right? How the hell do you market 10,000 different outcomes? You can't. But what we can do is just like Legos do. Let's go here, for example. Lego, I was using this the other day. Lego has these awesome, as a dad, they have these awesome boxes. It's $149, by the way, for a cardboard box with some plastic in it. Think about it for a second. Just think about that. There are all these iconic car kits. And there's all kinds, everybody knows how this works. There's all these other things you can do with, I want to do the Eiffel Tower in Legos. Okay, great. Here's the box. Okay. It's exactly the same thing. Our process is to say, understand that Legos are these bricks that snap together and you could buy them individually, blah, 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 blah. But most people, whether they're a professional or the end user, go right to the box because this is what I need today or my customers need today. And if I start with this, I get all the other stuff anyway. This is our thing is a little better even than Legos, because if you buy the Eiffel Tower, you don't have a million other pieces, but buy 10 of these kits and you eventually have a million pieces. By the way, just look at the price. $629 for the Eiffel Tower. So, granted, it looks really cool. Like you can impress your family, you've got the Eiffel Tower, but like $700, call it, for plastic. Now, why does that apply to us? Well, with our kit, what we're saying is, what we've decided is, because this is an old thing, I've been doing this forever. We finally have all the parts, we have the process, we have the motivation, we have the financial backing to prove that you could start with the kit, and for your business, if you're a coach, immediately get humongous value. Your cost, $97 a month. What do you get with that? You get all of the instructions and for this kit, the things that are important, as we'll talk about in a second, for you as a coach. But let's say you're an implementer. Remember, you're hanging out with friends and family and around. Oh, there's a whole group of people I know that are all doing coaching stuff and they're doing it badly. All I need to do is just go ahead and be a LaunchKit base member. And then for any of my customers, I sell them the business model that Spence and Beth have ready to go. It's $97 for them to get the hosted solution, including whichever kit I want to include. So we include the kit of choice. Like in this case, they're all coaching people. So my cost is $60. I make $37 a month just on that. And then I sell these services that Beth and Spencer taught me in the kit, and maybe with some live training on what to sell as upsells. I can charge you $300 to do this and $600 to do that and $1,200 to do that. Or maybe you retain me for the month for $5,000 because I'll just do all of it and I'll be your WordPress business expert, which, by the way, I had 2 calls yesterday with one of my really good friends, colleagues, and referring clients who I've known for years. He had an Israeli businessman who lives in New Jersey who has 2 really clever businesses. What I have been personally offering and talking about is exactly the thing I'm going to teach, because in a cold call with somebody who just really knew what they needed, I had every single thing he needed ready to go. I had all of the mechanics. I knew all of the features because they're already in the kit. And all I needed to do was apply that to what services made sense. And I explained to this businessman, he had 2 businesses. I explained I could do this hourly at $300 an hour. I could do it by a block of hours of 20 hours and get a discount from $6,000 to $5,000. Or I could do a project. A project means I got to put you on a list of all these specific details, and I don't want to do that. But you know what's better? I think you match for what I call a retainer. And the retainer is me saying, I'm essentially going to deliver what you're asking, but it's going to be more or less 20 hours. But we take the pressure off of you having any problems when you want to call me, you want to talk to me, whatever. It's $5,000, but it's for a time certain. So in other words, you got 4 weeks for you to act responsibly, use my knowledge, and bing, bing, 2 retainers, 2 projects, simple. Now, I also, because it was referred to me, had the benefit of sharing that with this other person who's working with me in the past successfully. That's what I'm talking about. By empowering you with the standard things as an implementer, you could make a couple $100 for just like 15 minutes of work, or you could have something that becomes a recurring revenue business where maybe you just worry about the hosting and you make 37 times 12 is 450 plus bucks times every person. Like, get 10 people, you're making, $4,500 a year doing nothing, just literally having put them into these things. But really selling the services is where the money's at, right? Every time you need a change, okay, charge you $300. Maybe you get on $300 a month for me helping you. Okay. I feel like we've run out the processes. I want to talk about the product. I want to go over the pricing. What do you think we should talk any more about the process?
I'm just going to for a quick example from, like I said before, if I would have had the kit, I would have, purchased the launch kit, but then these additional little kits, right, to have in my arsenal, so to speak. And gosh, when a client, in building their website, oh my gosh, you just grab that, install it, and it's done. I don't have to go through all of that brain damage of that setup. I can get to the part that I love to do, which is working with the client and get their website built. And because I purchased the specific kit, I know that it's going to be, it's going to have the instructions on how to get the CRM to connect to this, to connect. Anyway, it just makes that business model so easy.
I think you bring up a good point, and I want to clarify because today I'm sure the question is going to come up. I don't see it in the chat yet, but like the LaunchKit platform is live and running. The coaching kit is in existence, but it's not released today. But you could get it by signing up today to the LaunchKit platform, because what you just pointed out, and I was insinuating it, but let's just clarify. If you go to Legos, we're not going to have this many, but if you go to Legos, there's families of stuff, right? So let's say you're into Star Wars, okay? There's dozens and dozens and dozens of Star Wars related boxes, okay? I got the Advent calendar and the Star Destroyer and the X-Wing fighter, okay? All of those is the same blocks, just put together differently with different instructions. Think exactly the same thing when you think about LaunchKit. LaunchKit has all the curated best software, and the base LaunchKit has all of this stuff in there ready to use. When you buy a kit or get a kit as part of your free one, when you're either the main customer or for your client, it's just like, here's the specific details about how to use these features for this purpose. And we'll probably include, for example, in partnership with other creators, both the people listening now and like Melissa Love, right? And other people there. They have creative energy around style, making the aesthetics look good. So for a coaching kit, maybe it has the scheduling page with the mechanics and the copywriting and the automation already ready to go, the sales funnel. But whether you do it yourself or you have some other add-on from somebody like Melissa, oh, I love her design sensibility, so I could just drop in her design kit on top of my coaching kit and make it look sexy exactly as I want. So what we're doing is all the mechanics and function are there. We support that. But the look and feel is as simple as choosing different colors, pouring on somebody's style thing, using a pattern, because that's the benefit here. Like we go back to, let's use the car metaphor. We're making the car that's white primer ready for any kind of aesthetic looks, but it also has all the features inside you can optionally sell to your customer or not. Do they want the Bose stereo or the simple wheels? Do they want the spoiler? You can choose and have that car roll off the factory in minutes, but whether you paint it yellow or pink or brown is your choice, and you can have other people's stuff that connects to it to do that as well. So for us, the idea is to take WordPress and turn it into a service that has the ability for anybody in our audience or who is our implementers to just get to making cool stuff. And let's all get off this roller coaster of going to the flea market on a Sunday and hoping to find junkyard parts to build something for ourselves or our clients. Okay. But you're correct. There is not just one kit. You and I'm not going to show that page. We made a list. We have about 50 different kits that could be made, massage therapist, dog groomer kit, financial analyst kit. You go down all of the business features that people have, specialty, nutritionist, all these different things that people have as businesses. You as an end user could just grab one of those and boom, you're up and running, but you've still got the modularity of doing more. You can add in other features as your business grows or whatever. It's no extra cost. But if you're an implementer, each of those things, and now we're getting to the fun part, is a line item upsell. Okay. Let me just share, for example, from my email. I alluded to, this is an example of the difference of the features that are included in LaunchKit, but that we would clarify and instruct and bring to the forefront in the model. By the way, that's another point too. You and I were debating yesterday. LaunchKit out of the box is generic. It's just the default cadence color scheme with a logo, because I don't want anybody to assume that it has to be this or that as far as design. But the mechanics, the copywriting, the how it works are all there. What we talked about is probably for each of these kits, I'm going to make a sexy, or we'll have somebody make a sexy model of what if you painted this white car with like some really cool example, or maybe Melissa Love stuff or similar people who make, cadence related design. we'll probably include one of these in here that you could use that's easier to sell people's imagination on, right? But I don't want anybody to worry about the fact that you don't have predefined color schemes or predefined, graphic sets and anything else.
No, it's just
We
a
just
starting point. You're not locked into any of it. It's just a starting point to kind of drop in your things to get your vision going, and then customize it, for your look and feel to match your branding of your business.
Because that's the payoff, by the way, because
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about services, guess what? One of my best friends, Vince DePinto, we've known each other our whole lives, is a professional graphic artist. He gets paid for doing real digital graphic work. But in today's world, we've got Canva. We've got the color palette of Cadence. Like, you as a one step ahead of people you've met today, WordPress implementer, could be paid happily by anybody who's like, listen, can you just do it for me? And you go, well, okay, cool. Like, give me an example of some colors you like, or what's a website you like? And they go, that one. Okay, $300. I'll set up your color palette. Great. How much time does that take you? About 6 minutes. $300, 6 minutes. Now, there's a list of stuff that you can do that are based upon these features. And that's where the money is to be made for you as an implementer. But it's also the value proposition to you if you were the end user. For example, what does a coach need? Coach needs an audience. I've talked about this in my live videos and our previous live events. If you don't have an audience for whom you have a pain solution, you don't have a business. So everybody needs to know, and I'm not talking about how to market, but I'm saying if you have a place where people exist that you have a solution for, you need a way for them to come to you and to essentially say, hi, Spence, I'm interested in talking to you, right? Now, you and I discussed this before, but whether it be on WP LaunchKit, oh, let's go here even. See, like, even something as simple as this, like Go High Level has this, we have this. Whether you want to be people responding to you personally via email or chat or a text message, this is one method. Another method is the stuff like I use at WP LaunchFi. You go ahead and press the button, and guess what happens? You intake somebody into like first name, last name, email, and I want to have a call with you. In my case, I use this button for strangers because I don't want them to book a 60-minute call because I'm not giving that away for free. I'm giving away 15 to 30 minutes for free. So this is one of those features that is imperative. As a coach, that by itself is worth everything we're talking about. Where's my email? Here it is. If you had a system and you paid $97 a month that had a sexy billboard that people knew what you're offering, I do window washing, just let me know your name and number and I'll get back to you immediately. And as soon as they said, I have a building to window wash, and it texted you and or it emailed you and it put the person in your CRM and followed up with like if they didn't buy from you, like, hey, we talked the other day, do you still need my service? That pays for itself, because otherwise what happens? You're on a roof or on a scaffold somewhere all day. You can't answer the phone. You need something to collect your leads if you're going to spend money on Facebook ads, if you're going to have somebody marketing in social media. So lead onboarding, automatic response for a coach pays for itself. One time in recurring payments. I can't tell you how sad I get when I see things like we offer one of these kits as the Parent Club kit. I was so sad I cried myself to sleep about how ridiculously insane the method was for collecting money from parents. So I'm going to show you because it doesn't matter. API Parents Club. My son is an API. When you go here, now it's just using one of our kits. I've had parents who came here who have kids in other fraternities and sororities who run the other Parents Club say, I need to buy that now. Because notice here, donation to Parents Club. $30. Notice on the front, it says here, $30 dues are requested from each family. There's about 500 parents. Okay, guess what? This system, everybody pays. And we know who pays. So they collect 15 grand every time they do a new announcement. 15 grand. I charge $97 a month plus $300 for any time I update it. They can afford the 15 grand because they're also selling the other events and stuff too. So when you make it simple for somebody to take money in as a coach, Holistic Ways is another client of mine. This is an example, not of a coach, but a very similar outcome where she had a problem because people were just essentially coming and having to use Venmo or PayPal or, oh, I forgot my cash or whatever. Here, her services like coaching or other, hers or massage, are available. Somebody chooses how much, they buy now, they pay, she gets the money, they go into the CRM, and then they go ahead and they're taken to the appropriate scheduling to schedule. And she knows they've paid. So I can't emphasize enough how ridiculously paying for itself it is. If you're an implementer and you go to a client and you say, I've got a guaranteed way for you to take one-time and recurring subscriptions in advance and know exactly who's paid you before you give the service for coaching. Let's do it. Like it's like you had me at hello. Automated scheduling, calendar, and Zoom. Now I'm really excited about this because you and I have already done in WP LaunchKit, in our documentation, we had already covered this. And by the way, our documents are coming along amazing. Beth is cranking stuff out. I'm doing my best to keep filling stuff in. We have a long way to go because there's so many things, but we want this to ultimately be connected to the live events and to the boxes and so it's just simple. Like, here's your instruction sheet. But if we did this, if we did Calendly and we search for that, I think it should pop up. So we did a live event on this and step by step how to do free or paid calls. You'll notice that this is built into the kits. So if you use our kit, there's an example of this very thing where we're using right now the Fluent CRM connected to Calendly, which by the way works great. But what I'm so excited about is we have two new possible relationships. There's another plugin, Simply Schedule Appointments, who was interested in getting an integration of the kit. And we've also heard from Shah Jahan Jewel, the Fluent CRM team, that they're coming out with Fluent Bookings, which is like a plug-in version of Calendly. Either way, just like I showed you with WP Launchify, this is the payoff. WPLaunchify.com call for yourself or your customers, the ability for somebody to go, I need a 60-minute call. They put their name in and they're taken immediately where the information is passed along of who they are to a Calendly or whatever, and people can book. That by itself pays for itself.
The integration to Zoom is great too, right? Because it sets everything right up with Zoom. So then the client that you're going to have your session with, they get the information about Zoom and it comes to you. And so that integration is really slick.
And it goes both ways, right? Like, so anybody who's worked with me or knows Zoom, what's beautiful is it also works with Fathom. So you get a way to capture your lead. They're in your CRM. They're taken with their information passed along to Calendly. Calendly schedules the call. And then when they do the Zoom call, they are immediately notified by Zoom of everything they need. And if they do the call, you use Fathom to record and transcribe it for free, which collects all the information they need and you need for them to say yes to whatever you're offering. Abso-frickin-lutely the most bulletproof thing. We use it every day, and it's how I'm able to run this entire business with just a 1 to 2 person team. Email marketing, members only content and dashboard. This one is presumptuous because that's the heart of this. But because we're using a CRM with tags and we're selling access to stuff, one-time or subscription, we have the ability with a tag to control access to lessons, courses, media content. We can display different content based upon which tag you have. We can hide things, show things. We do this with WP Launchify. Like when you sign up for the launch kit, it enrolls you, it triggers the activation of your site, it gives you access to the software bundle, it changes the information in your My Account area. All of it is done with tags based upon either purchasing, subscribing, or being manually given the data in the CRM. And by centralizing it that way, the CRM is then used for automations to follow up. So the CRM knows if these things that needed to be there have been done. And if not, it triggers a reminder email. Swear on a stack of Fortnite cards. Everybody gets a kick out of this because this was one of these things I have fun with. When I do my live calls, I have this stack of, by the way, I want to mention, my 12-year-old, my older kids were into Fortnite too. My 12-year-old must have spent a lot of time on Fortnite with his birthday cards and gifts and stuff because they apparently had a class action lawsuit and they had to refund all of the Fortnite coupon value to people. Apparently, I'm entitled to about $1,500 worth of Fortnite coupons. But anyways, I got all these things here, and I use them as representing tags. And I love the fact that somebody in our audience just pointed that out. So you swear on it that you won't add more stuff. You also realize tags are the heart and the soul of what's happening here. I just kind of alluded to email marketing, newsletters, and automation. Because we have the person in the CRM and we have this beautiful, elegant interface for making custom emails and saving templates. And even like we were talking yesterday, we were debating, what if you're a nutritionist and you want to have custom plans for your various clients? You're going to use the CRM and the email templates where you just change the placeholder for what the things are that the person should do or watch, and then send them the email, because you'll have a permanent record of what it was you prescribed to that person. Super easy. But the ability, for example, my newsletter, guess what? It's based on the LaunchKit platform using Fluent CRM, Fluent Forms. Okay. Affiliate referral tracking and payouts. This is a real big deal. So again, like the couple minutes left, I want to get to the product pricing, but like what we do is we offer $15 flat every month on a $97 subscription. I'm not doing any affiliate referrals on the services ever. And I'm not doing it on the little kits and stuff. That's nonsense. But it's pretty neat if somebody is just an affiliate, they're not an implementer, and they're not going to do anything about it. They could just send a customer with an affiliate link and make $180 every year, 15 a month, times however many people they send. That's real money. I mean, most plugin authors in WordPress sell a plugin for $37, $57, $67 a year, and they have to support the gosh darn thing. You could be an affiliate, send them to the LaunchKit platform, and make $180 a year for every person simply because they bought a Lego kit. I mean, come on. No brainer. No brainer. You have the same tools in the coaching kit that we use ourselves. And then finally, we talked about this. So the ability to use ready-made templates and patterns and the design tools, that's why we've gone with Cadence and Gutenberg natively. We get rid of the whole layer of Elementor and all that nonsense. Because we're nearing the hour, let's just talk about the pricing. And I want to also point out, even though WP LaunchKit is a domain, we're really selling everything at the central location of WP Launchify. And here's why. Over the years, I've succeeded with Spencer Foreman and Launch Flows and all these other brands. Too much stuff going around. Like if you go to Spencer Foreman, this is my portal, but you can see like I had 4 different places and things going on. What we finally figured out is if everything is sold through Launchify, it's easy. So here at Launchify, the main thing that people get from me from a consulting call is the LaunchKit startup. And they might also do a couple extra hours on top. And if you go into the available services or from the top menu of the shop, you can see what we've been talking about. So the LaunchKit monthly is $97. It includes all the software, optimized Rocket.net hosted site, which by the way, Rocket.net, amazing partners here after trying all these different things. They are ranked 99% satisfaction and one of the fastest of all WordPress hosting. They do a concierge business like we do. You can take your stuff anywhere, anytime, but if you get it out of the box, you get the best hosting, so you never have to think about it. The software is included. You also get the email unlimited support. You get access to, and this is important, what we're announcing this week is our live training. So live training means you don't have to pay more for this particular live training. Do we have that? Can you give me the URL, Beth, in the text or something, or if you want to share, but like, give me the link to a display version of that list we were talking about for what's on the live training. I'm going to put it up on the screen just so I don't have to get it. Like, make that page live. And then, but while you're doing that, we're doing live training. It's going to be 1 hour for 2 weeks on Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, 30. So 4 sessions. The sessions are going to show you as an implementer or as an end user how to configure the best features and how, if you're an implementer, to sell the features or services. And in doing so, you don't have to pay more. It's worth $297, but you just have to agree that you're going to stick around with LaunchKit for 3 months. If you leave, you leave. I'm not going to chase you, but if you stay, you get it for free. We're going to have other live training as well, but this is the basis for how we're going to have an additional product or service line, which is custom live training based upon all of these different business ideas that would be in these various kits. So $97 a month includes live training, unlimited email support, hosted. You get all the software updated. Amazing value. Use it for yourself, use it for your, clients. If you have clients, if you go into WP LaunchKit, go to that page where you've got the stuff and just make that page live for the workshop. That's what I need. If you are having a client, we've got the LaunchKit to Go plugin. It's already being sold here. And this is essentially everything that you would get in the LaunchKit hosted, except it's not hosting and it's none of the support. But if you have a client for $47, that's how you could use your own hosting and immediately set up a client with everything that we have with the auto update features and all the installation stuff. So that's where at $47, you could charge $97 and make $47 a month. That's $600 a year just for adding a customer onto your setup. And like Chris Latham had said, he took 2 hours of setup time and all the hassle every month down to 4 minutes. Let's talk about these kits. So we came here today because of this. When you buy LaunchKit Platform or you add a client, hosted or otherwise, through the LaunchKit to Go, you will get one kit. As I mentioned, Coaching Kit is the first one we're officially coming out with. There will be dozens and dozens and dozens. Any of them will be individually available a la carte for I want to say $37 each, one-time purchase. And what you'll get in there will be the instruction sheets and the suggestions of how to set this up for those businesses, how to make money if you're an implementer and selling more of these services for your customers, but also how to use them to their highest purpose. So from that standpoint, super easy for somebody to add a la carte. And then finally, I didn't really clarify, but if you were going to go ahead and use LaunchKit for a client, I need to add that to our store. It's going to be $60 for your second, third, fourth, and on sites. So for example, you need to be in a relationship with us for one site of 97, but the second or third or fourth sites hosted with everything the same will be 60. If you do have a relationship with us where you're doing really well and you have more than 10 customers, we'll do a personal discount because you don't need to be paying retail if you have that much business with us. We'll work out a super wholesale deal. And then everything else that comes from this is I am literally, Beth had asked me this, aren't you just teaching people exactly the thing you do? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm doing, Beth. I'm literally doing that. Let me see if I can find this real quick before we go. Hold on. I want to just show you real quick what we're going to include in this live training. So it was a workshop page that we were working on. Let me just turn it live real quick. And then I'm going to share it here. Okay, so here's the workshop. And it is actually live. So, okay. So we did an outline, Beth and I. And I like sharing stuff like build in public. So here's the workshop. This is going to be included for free if you just stick around for 3 months. You don't have to pay extra. But this is going to be representative of what we're going to be doing now. We're going to be offering a la carte paid workshops that essentially use the kits or main kit to do exactly what I do, what we do as an implementer. Or if you're an end user, the first 3 weeks are reusable. For example, the first week on a Tuesday, gaining access to your launch kit, setting up the key settings, working with the customizer at Cadence. A lot of people are coming from Elementor, Divi, blah, blah, blah. And we have to train their muscle memory to Cadence, which is awesome. Thursday, the next session. These are all live, by the way, so you'll be able to ask questions. So it's like $300 value of a personal consultation for no extra cost. Designing, beautiful pages, posts, and more with the blocks and the patterns, creating the products and the services and the courses, assembling sales funnels. So these are like how to quickly get to something you can sell or something you're going to use if you're using it for your business. The next Tuesday, how to go live with your site by pointing your domain, establishing your SMTP for email services, how to use your keys, your personal keys with Stripe. So these first 3 weeks or, 3 hours of sessions, they'll be recorded. You get them anyway. But if you just agree to stick around for 3 months of LaunchKit, you're not paying extra. The fourth session is the shake the money maker. If you're an implementer, or even for yourself as an end user, how to offer and sell profitable one-time services. Well, what is that? That is just putting your clients on a LaunchKit solution, because they're going to be sticky as all get out. You put them in there for $47 or $60 a month, and you charge $97 minimum, $37 a month, $47 a month profit. That's $100, if it's 50, it's $600 a month on the LaunchKit, maybe $450. $600 a year, $450 a year, just for selling one time the person on that. But really where the money is on a recurring monthly revenue, like that Parents Club. I told them I'll just charge them if they want during the school year, $300 a month, and I'll just do whatever they need me to do. Most of my clients in the WordPress world pay me $100 a month for nothing other than making sure their plugins are updated. That's $1,200 a year. If you have a group of friends or business associates or people that have a hobby you share, and you go, hey, I've got a website for you coaches. I've got a website for you pottery makers, you massage therapists. It's just $97. And then if you want, I'll take care of everything every month for an extra $100. Or when you need it, I'll $300 and I'll make the changes. They're like, of course I'm going to have you do that, because they don't want to bother with figuring that stuff out. Or like I showed you, they have $15,000 of money that you were able to squeeze out of their club members because you gave them a tool to finally do it efficiently. And that's what these add-ons are. So the add-ons are like, you start them out with the basics. You got a form, you got a notification. But you know what you really need? You need an automatic sales funnel. You need something that like is a newsletter. I can add that on. It's $1,500 to set it up. It's $2,500 to set it up. Oh, retain me for a month for $5,000. And here's what you get. You get us here providing you all the raw software, the actual proven methods already built, the tactics, the techniques, the support, the strategy, any of those things. Because why? Because I'm doing it daily. I've been doing it daily for 18 years, and Beth has been doing it as well. We've already figured it out. The trick is just to stop tinkering and stop using WordPress from the flea market and going instead to our Costco, our Lego store, our IKEA store. Okay, I feel like we really knocked it out of the park. We got some great feedback here. I like this comment here. Teaching what you do is the best. Many people never want to get their hands dirty once they see how the sausage is made. We're living in a world of infinite choices, infinite technology. You know what happens in that infinite world of technology? People begin to feel impotent because they're, let's say, not 12 years old or 22 years old. And they're like, can you just help me, please? Like, that's what I do. I mean, I know how to fix my car. I was a mechanic, my own home mechanic. I know how to get on a ladder and clean the gutter or scrub the tile in the bathroom. You know what I do? I pay somebody, because I don't like to do that anymore. It makes me feel bad, or it's physically not worth it for my time. Okay. I feel like this turned out pretty well, but I feel like, as always, and I feel bad, but I don't feel bad, because you and I talk for hours, and it's kind of like Penn and Teller. Today, I kind of rambled, but what we're really shooting for is building something that ultimately Beth is going to be running a lot of some of the live events and so forth. So I feel bad, but on the other hand, I know that you were generally on the same page because we discussed today's topics. Is there any stuff we should wrap up with, or do we add to this?
Well, just, I think the versatility, of the kit, and then the additional, like Lego, special identity kits, just the versatility that it's going to give to the end user. And I can't emphasize enough about the implementer, because it just, the time savings and then the additional, money-making opportunities from it are phenomenal.
Let's clarify something you and I had originally talked about. There was two things that have changed from the original incarnation. And again, I appreciate those who are still here. We have quite a good audience today. I guess we're keeping them interested. But we had talked about, and I had tested in many, many, many calls now, whether somebody who is an implementer like you are professionally, you're a WordPress professional, but let's call it like we're both implementers, whether it would be appealing to you to have us sell your customer the white label bespoke package that you're offering on our end. What that means is that your customer would be sent to WP Launchify to a special sales page that we'd set up for you to sell your product. But we're taking the money because your clients are giving us their credit card, but they feel like, and they understand what they're getting, they feel like, I don't know how to say this, but like instead of giving you the money and you paying us the wholesale, they're just paying us retail, and it's kind of like an affiliate relationship. We're paying you back the difference. Now, you and I did that, and it worked brilliantly. But I talked to dozens and dozens and dozens of actual LaunchKit creators who are using it and other people in my calls, and nobody else wanted to do that because the way that they seem to want to do it is the ownership and control and the immediate money. So what we're doing now is saying, if you're an implementer and any of this is interesting or available and you want to just immediately have a proven way to make money with stuff that's just, I mean, you already know about it. It's just, we're giving you the wholesale package. Just take it, sell it to your customer. You pay us wholesale. You get paid retail. Your services you sell, just use any of the ideas, take them, steal them, borrow them, whatever, because we're giving them out. But the mechanics that we deliver, including the hosting, you're getting wholesale and maybe at a super discount if you have more. And so from that standpoint, it's really great because let's say you have a client who comes on and then they do some work, you make some money and they stop using the stuff. Great. We just take that license and stop paying for it. Or if you want to use the license and keep paying, use it for a different client. Easy. And then the second thing is that when we talked about like where people really get hung up, I am constantly surprising my clients and professional colleagues with this thing that is so obvious to me. I think maybe it's my superpower because I think I told you the story. I'll tell the story if you want, but like when I was 10 years old, I learned I was an entrepreneur. I went to an all boys camp, male counselors, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm from a very liberal family. I had, an old steamer trunk, and I was packing the baseball mitts and the swim trunks and the tennis racket, all this stuff. And it occurred to me, like all boys camp, all male, like I should probably pack a bunch of my dad's Playboy magazines in there. And I was 10 years old, and I rented out the Playboy magazines to my friends and the counselors. $600 later, I got taken to the director's office by my camp counselor, and they took my money and they called my dad. Mr. Foreman, your son is the porn king of Camp Menominee, and he got $600 of ill-gotten gains. And my dad was like, what? Only 600? And that's when I knew that my life was going to be solving pain points for money. So to me, it's really obvious what people are buying from me today is not the plugins, not the software, not the technology. They're like, can you please solve my pain? My pain is I'm an implementer that's just WordPress curious, and I wish you could show me how to make money by these people I already hang out with or that I know have the same problem as me. Or they are the end user who are like, I know there's a million online services, but they're all so hard and they frustrate me because I'm a stranger and nobody talks to me. What you do, Spence, is you make it clear that you're a human being and have human beings who care about me. And that's what I'm really paying for. And that's what I can give to you through this mechanical system is I give you, get past all the technology, get right onto the relationship stuff, because that's what people are throwing money at today. I think that's a good way to end it. But like, that's how you and I met, Beth. Like, honestly,
Right.
Professionally, you had a client and a very complex setup. You're a really smart person, but like, how could you know what I knew? I was spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years and years and years. You just like, Spence, I know it's worth it. Like, get me over this hurdle. And we did. And now we're here. And that's all I've got to say about that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're really excited. I would encourage everybody, please, 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 if you're just on the fence, please do yourself a favor. Go to, well, let's go to wplaunchkit.com. Click Get Started. You will see that it'll take you right on over to the checkout of Launchify with the LaunchKit Monthly. It's 100% money back guarantee for the first month. You cannot lose. You can play and play and play, talk to us, sign yourself up. Don't do what it does here. I had clicked it twice. That's why it's 194. But like, go ahead and do it once, get yourself signed up, get involved, because what is going to happen is that this first kit, which we're releasing probably over the weekend or maybe early next week, this one kit is going to be the first starting point. You can get this included for free, and you're going to get the live training without any money, if you agree to stay for the 3 months. Now, to be honest, you're going to get all the value up front. Like, you can cheat me. That's fine. I accept that. Karmic payback will be, but you're going to get in the first 2 weeks the ability to come to our live workshop. It's Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday. Even if you left, you could still have that value. But I trust you. I like you. I would rather show I'm willing to take a chance on you. And if you honor your promise to stick around, I'm not expecting you to keep paying the money if you've left. But that's what we're doing, rather than forcing people to pay up front. Because you and I both agreed that's something I learned Ryan Lee has been doing successfully as well. I don't need to squeeze a rag to get more, drops of water out of it. Okay. Last word to you, Beth, before we say bye-bye. That's it.
I think you nailed it. You did a great job. You followed my request to be clear. So thank you.
I appreciate it. You, by the way, I love working with Beth because we're very similar in many ways, but we're also very yin yang. And I think that's what everybody needs, is a relationship with somebody professionally and otherwise that you can complement each other by viewing things from a different angle. Thank you for that. Thanks for being here today, Beth. And thank you, everyone who's attended and who's watching this on the replay. Come join us at wplaunchkit.com or WP Change the way you make money with WordPress for your business or for your clients. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.